damn it. Yes, we are live, finally. Sorry it took so long to get back on, folks. Some technical difficulties getting this started. YouTube seems to be having a little bit of trouble right now. There we go. Yes, it is time for episode 2 of me, Jacket, and a short box. I'm dressed for Thor for no other reason than because I want to dress like Thor. First things first, let's get the shot out of the way. Shot. For each of you, Facebook, YouTube, cheers. Delicious. Alright. So. Technical difficulties stink. Anyways. Today, I've got a short box of special stuff. And no, I will not be speaking Asgard Lisp for the whole time. That's all you get from me, an Asgard Lisp. But you will get this every once in a while. Alright. Got a short box today. Full disclosure, it's the full disclosure. Anyways, full disclosure. This episode, I took 3-something shots prior to beginning the show. Don't tell the wife. If you do, it's 3-something. Plus the 2 I just took now. So, thought we'd try something different today. Be a little loosey-goosey before the show started off. So, let's get started. I got a special short box today. This short box, I don't know if you can see it. It's got tabs in it. Not all of mine have tabs in it. It's basically whatever, it's about fitting things in the short box. So, anyways, this short box kind of represents past and present, and we'll get to that eventually. But before we get to the tabs, we'll get to the stuff beforehand. Anyways, so, oh my gosh, the shot was delicious. If you're drinking with me, I will give you time to take a shot prior to my taking a shot. Anyways, we'll start. Before we start with the tabs, I have a lot of random stuff that we'll go through. Okay. So this, growing up as a kid, this was one of my favorite sweating. Running around during technical difficulties on a one-man show. Woo! That's all I can say. And I know last episode, some people complained about the audio, and no, the audio problem has not been solved. I do not have a speaker yet, so I'm sorry if you can't hear me properly. I'm going to try to fix that problem eventually. But it's only episode 2. We're still kind of loosey-goosey with everything and getting to know it. And I should say me getting to know everything. So here we go with this short box. No, as I was saying. Okay, so cool. So as a kid, this was one of my most favorite series. It was The Invaders. This is number 1. This series was about Captain America and the Submariner and Human Torch and his sidekick Toro and Captain America's sidekick Bucky, all fighting the Nazis and basically the Axis forces. I love this series. Now, as I said before, comic books aren't just about reading the stories and the great artwork, although that's usually enough. It's about memories, and one of the memories I have about this series, this is pretty funny, is my dad hated the series. My dad collected comic books when he was a kid. When he was younger, comic books cost 10 cents. His dad would give him $1, and he would run to the drugstore and buy 10 comic books with $1. Wouldn't that be nice? But he had stopped obviously when he got older. But when I was a kid and I started collecting, he got back into collecting, and he would read some of the same books I would. We both had our own books that we'd read. Some we'd read together, some we'd read separate. But he hated this book. His whole argument was, if the invaders were so badass, why didn't they just end World War II immediately? Seriously. And I tried to explain to him. I don't know if anyone out there's read The Invaders. I understand his argument. Sure, you got Captain America and the most powerful superheroes back then, whatever. And sure, the Axis forces had their own supervillains, whatever. And they should have been able to end World War II. Here's the thing. There was this magical, I forget the character, but she had some sort of magic, some sort of Nazi magic that protected Hitler, that protected Berlin. So the invaders couldn't get to Berlin. They tried, trust me, they tried to get to Berlin, they couldn't. I tried to explain that to him, but he wasn't buying it. He hated the invaders. I love the invaders. I had the full run of this. The funny thing about this, though, was, as I said in the last episode, things about this, I learned things later on about this series, about stuff that I was collecting, and you would think number one of the invaders was the first appearance of the invaders. You would think that. But it's not. It's not. In any other series, 1 to whatever, and sure, characters might show up in other books, they might show up somewhere else, whatever, but the invaders showed up in number 1 invaders. And then they would do books, and they would have giant size, they have annuals, and Marvel did something back in the 70s really weird. They introduced some characters in, boom, giant size books. This is actually the first appearance of the invaders. They threw everybody off and introduced the invaders in giant size number 1 of the invaders. Giant size books don't come out until the book's been established, people. But Marvel was like, oh, we're going to trick everybody. They tricked me. So I finally got a hold of this book much later after I thought I had the full run of the Invaders, first run. And so I have that. So, Invaders, if you're into World War II, Captain America, Old School, all these characters originally appeared in like their old, when Marvel was Timely Comics, and Marvel Comics came out, all these characters were part of their group. Submariner was really weird. He showed up in a book called, it was a weird off-the-wall, all-cartoons book, and Marvel ended up making him into a hero. Especially the Human Torch story. Human Torch is actually the first. This Human Torch, not the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four, but the Human Torch from World War II was actually Marvel's first superhero, and then when they were timely. And he appeared in number 1 of Marvel Comics, of all things. And Marvel Comics obviously became Marvel Comics, but at the time they were timely, and it was number 1. And the story, I just recently read the first story of the Human Torch. It's actually an interesting story. He wasn't exactly doing the right thing. I mean, he burst into the flame and burned a lot of people without knowing what he was doing. So, again, Invaders, you can find it in trades, but as I said before, I like reading the originals because they're the originals. So, that's the Invaders. Let's see what else is in here. Okay, here we go. Let me put this in the right way. Actually, I'm just going to put these in. We'll put these away later. Off air. Okay, everybody loves the Punisher. Punisher. We love the Punisher. My dad and I, that was another book my dad and I read together, was the Punisher. He appeared in number 129 of Amazing Spider-Man. I do have a copy of that, of course, because Spider-Man. But anything Punisher back in the late 70s, early 80s was golden to my dad and I. We loved it. And then so after he'd been around for a while, appearing in Spider-Man books and other books, Marvel Preview, so on, they gave him his own miniseries. Boom, miniseries. I guess they wanted to try him out solo to see if he would work in a solo comic. And what's funny about this, and it's really funny because it gets funnier. If you read the top of number 1, it says, number 1 in a 4-issue limited series. All right, so you bought this book thinking, oh, it's a limited series. It's going to be number 1, 4 issues. All right. Number 2 comes out, and number 2, I don't know if you can see this because it's in red. It's kind of hard to read, but it says number 2 in a 5-issue limited series. So all of a sudden, it became a 5-issue limited series. Fine. It's The Punisher. I'll take 5 issues. Heck, I'll take 100 issues of The Punisher. Whatever. All right. Then number 3 comes out. Because I'm not already confused enough. And number 3 says, number 3 in a 4-issue limited series. Seriously? 4? Is it 4 or 5? Make up your mind, Marvel. Then number 4 comes out. And it continues, and then it at least it's consistent with number 3. It says number 4 in a 4-issue limited series. Except it wasn't the last. You think, okay, for number 4 in a 4-issue limited series means this should be the last issue, right? No. Absolutely not. Because we have number 5 in a 5-issue limited series. Number 4 was continued, and you were like, what the hey? Why is it continued? Well, because it was actually number 5. It was 5. So this is actually the first solo series of Punisher. It's actually a really good story. I read it years ago, and I'd like to tell you about it, but I don't remember any of it. I remember it was good. So, but The Punisher, you've seen The Punisher. If you haven't seen Daredevil's Season 2, I highly suggest it. Whether or not you like the first season of Daredevil, I know some people I know haven't liked the Netflix series, or some of them, but Punisher steals the show, honestly. Honestly, if nothing else, see the jail scene. Just Google jail scene, Daredevil, Punisher, and just watch that scene. I guarantee you're going to want to watch the whole series after that. Alright, let's see what else is in here. Another side note, and the Punisher eventually did get his own series. This is number 1. Alright, let's see. What's in here? Alright, so now we'll get to the tabbed issues. Alright. The first tab in this box, and I know there's a couple of people out there who are huge fans of this group, Fantastic Four. As a kid, I grew up loving the Fantastic Four. Loving them. I collected them. When I collected, it was a John Byrne series, and for collectors out there, you know John Byrne. I loved his artwork. Him and George Perez, I'd buy anything they drew when I was a kid. If they were drawn, if I saw their name on the book, if I saw, I mean, you didn't even see their name. You knew their style. When you saw the book, when you saw a John Byrne story, you know, it was like lightning. George Perez also. Shout out to George Perez. Anyways, and going back to the whole thing I talked about in the last episode, there were certain books, there were no trade books, there were no trade paperbacks, there weren't omnibuses. If I wanted to read a story, I had to go find the damn book myself, buy it, pay my money out of it, and that hurt. Trust me, it hurt, because it wasn't just, like, sure, I knew these books would be worth money, or they were worth money, or they'd eventually be worth money, but my whole thing was I wanted to read the stories. Don't tell me Galactus shows up in Fantastic Four number 49 and not explain the story, because I'm going to go find Galactus, or 48. It's Fantastic Four number 48 and read it. So my Fantastic Four, I had, as a kid, I think it was 100 through, I forget, whatever the issue ended when I stopped collecting and when I was in college, a Fantastic Four. But these are my key Fantastic Four. These are the ones. So as I go into Fantastic Four, like, a good friend of mine, Jim Brocious, who runs one of the comic book stores out here, one time he told me, and I never thought about it, but if you 1 through 100 of the Fantastic Four was probably one of the greatest runs in comic book history. I mean, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created iconic heroes and villains that today are still in the movies, still in the comics. Never mind the Fantastic Four. I mean, you had Doctor Doom. You had the Skrulls were created in the Fantastic Four. Inhumans, Adam Warlock, Silver Surfer, Galactus, of course, Annihilus. Annihilus, don't even get me started on Annihilus. I love Annihilus. I love the Negative Zone. I wish they would bring him back. And when Civil War started, I really thought Negative Zone would be part of it because that's where they, in the comics, that's where they housed all the, I guess, people who are against the government, because you can't see it from the negative zone. It's the negative zone. Annihilus is a nasty, nasty villain, and I love him as a villain, and I'm hoping he shows up sometime in the comic books. But anyways, going to my Fantastic Four collection. Let's see what I got here. Okay, so speaking of which, and I don't know if you've heard of this. So Inhumans have a TV series coming out. Their own TV series coming. But what I understand is the first episode is going to be shown in the theaters. Might be the first 2 episodes, but go see it. The Inhumans. I know. I saw the pictures too. I wasn't crazy about the outfits. I don't care about outfits. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. Real quick story. When Marvel started the universe, obviously the movie universe started with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. And when I heard Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Tony Stark, I lost it. He's too short. He's not charismatic enough. He's not going to make a good Tony Stark. What are you thinking? And I wasn't even an Iron Man fan. I was just a fan of comic books in general. I wasn't big on Iron Man. But I saw the first Iron Man, and I was like, I am dead wrong. And since then, I have held back on my opinion until I see the movie. And why not? Why not? If you're a comic book fan, go see the movie. See the movie first, and then offer your opinion. Don't be mad that someone's going to be a certain character. Go see it first, because you don't know. You don't know what they're going to do. So anyways, I know I've heard a lot of lashback on this new picture, and if you haven't seen the picture, go see the picture. It's called the actors playing humans in their costumes, and people are losing their crap over it. And I don't know why. Give them a chance. I will say this: Medusa's hair looks entirely too thin. I mean, she's got some thick ass hair. Excuse my cursing, but her hair is thick ass because it's her weapon. So I'm hoping her hair puffs out a little bit. Maybe it's when it gets dry outside, it'll puff out. Anyways. Of course, I have got the first appearance of Inhumans. And what was cool back then, so wait here, a few things cool about this. This thing my friend Jim pointed out to me. If you look at the top of the comic book, the very top of the Fantastic Four comic book, from day one, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee called the Fantastic Four the world's greatest comic magazine. Pretty damn bold. When you're talking about Marvel Comics fighting against DC Comics, who had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and there's this group, Fantastic Four, and they're calling it the world's greatest comic magazine. The funny thing is, they were right. This book was outselling everybody in its day. Everybody. It was the world's greatest comic book. They weren't just talking crap. They weren't just walking the walk. They weren't just talking the talk. They were walking the walk. So, and what was cool about what they did was a lot of their storylines, especially in the old days. Right nowadays, they do 6 issues, so they can squirt out a trade paperback and tell the whole story in 6 issues. Kirby and Stan Lee were telling stories in 3 books. 3 books. This is the first appearance of the Inhumans. Second appearance of the Inhumans. There's a delay in the YouTube people, so I'm not sure. Hopefully you can see that. And the final. Well, not the final. The third part of the first Inhuman story that was presented by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Just a freaking incredible... I mean, the Inhumans are still around today. If you watch S.H.I.E.L.D., you know the Inhumans are a big part of that story. They've got their own series. They should be in a movie, to be quite honest with you. But okay, I'll take TV. If nothing else. And okay, so here's the thing. This is Fantastic Four, 45... 46 and 47. Okay? 45, 46, and 47. Inhumans. To this day, they are a major part of the Marvel Universe. So you would think, oh man, anyone else? Heck, that's it. That is it for, that's a good start. Or that's not a good start. Well, let's just say that's pretty cool. They created this. Then, what did they follow up with in those next 3 issues? Next 3 issues. Issue 48, boom, the coming of Galactus. big-headed watcher saying, "Yo, Galactus is coming." So again, a 3-issue series, Galactus. So story time, comic book story time. So not boring story time, comic book story time. Going back to the whole, I gotta have a book to read it because there's no trade paperback. Little Larry didn't know there were gonna be trade paperback books back then. Little Larry wanted to read books. So where I grew up in Cerritos, California, just outside of Orange County. Not too far from Knott's Berry Farm, probably about 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from Knott's Berry Farm. Next to Knott's Berry Farm, next to Knott's Berry Farm, there's this restaurant slash entertainment place called Excalibur. Knights fighting or whatever. Used to have a place called the Kingdom of the Dancing Horses, I believe it was, and next to it was a little convention center. Once a month, they would have a comic book convention center, which is basically people folding out chairs and selling comic books. And honestly, I could only go to one of them. I couldn't afford the money. I collect a lot of new titles. Wanted to read those and hated spending my money on old titles, but I wanted to read the freaking stories. So I went to one, and there was a seller selling the Galactus books. Again, this is the first one. Second issue. This is number 49, excuse me. And then issue 50 of Fantastic Four. First time Silver Surfer is on the cover of a comic book. And these stories were, they live up today. These were just, I read these stories, and I think I must have read these books a couple of times. I got these books for, I think I paid $17 each for them. Might have been $12, something around there. Which at the time was I paid for them because I had to. I wanted these books, but took a big chunk out of my current comic book thing, current comic book titles, because books back then were, I think, 35 cents, maybe 50 cents at the time. But yeah, so again, I own these books. Sure, they're worth money, and sure, I'm part speculator, part collector, and these books are worth a lot more than the $17 I might have paid for them. But they're good. Yeah. These are books. These are what the foundation of Marvel is pretty much based on. Okay, hold on a second. I think it is time for a shot. Let's take a shot, everybody. I got my Jack Daniel's shot glass, my bullet glass. I know I neglect my 7 glass. And I probably shouldn't. It's not nice, but it's look at it. It's so much smaller. And who wants a small shot? If you're taking shots, take a shot. Okay, so let's pour a shot. Cheers. Skull. And blood in your eye. All at the same time. There you go. Down the hatch. Lightning in the gut. Alright. Put that away for now. Alright, another character that Fantastic Four was responsible, that Fantastic Four debuted, which is, I would argue, is historic. Black Panther. Yes, Black Panther first appeared in a Fantastic Four comic book. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are responsible for creating the first true black superhero. Awesome, T'Challa, Prince of his kingdom, eventually now king. This is the second part of it. These books also created another character called Claw, a bad guy. He's if you saw Captain America, Age of Ultron. I'm sorry, no, Avengers, Age of Ultron. The guy who lost his hand, he's Claw. He gets a weapon that's pretty badass, and he'll probably show up in the Black Panther movie. But okay, so we're talking about. Oh, let me see. 1966. 1966. Right in the middle of the civil rights fight. Marvel says we need a black superhero because why not? Why wouldn't there be a black superhero? Remember, Marvel, timely at the time, had Captain America punching Hitler before it was hit to punch Hitler. So Marvel was ahead. Marvel has done a lot, and I'm not harping on DC because when it comes. Okay, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's sad, personally, and I'm not trying to talk trash on anybody. But DC and Marvel, they both have good stories. They both have good characters. They both have good artists. They both have good writers. I'm gonna read both. I'm gonna read Batman. I'm gonna read Spider-Man. Honestly, I didn't used to be a Superman fan, but damn it, if Superman Action Comics isn't good right now, and prior. I mean, the Action Comics run where Lex Luthor was the main character was freaking phenomenal. Go back and read those books. Go back when he's trying to find the Orange Lanterns. The Orange Lantern. I mean, that run was really good. I would, not as good, but close to the Superior Spider-Man. Superior when Doc Ock became Spider-Man. Pretty close. Pretty close. It was a good run. You didn't, and the best thing about it was you didn't sympathize with Lex Luthor. You just enjoyed the story. He's still a dick, but it's still a good story. Let's see what's got. Fantastic Four wise. I know. So if you saw, and I hope you did, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you saw at the end, Aaliyah, the queen of the group that was hunting them. There was a thing at the end, one of the 5 little excerpts on there, when she had the little thing, and she said, "I'm gonna call him Adam" or whatever. That's directed Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock was also first introduced in Fantastic Four again. He was called him at the time. He wasn't called Adam Warlock till later. So I'm gonna stop saying sort of clear. So here's the first appearance. Seriously, right? Someone could kill me. First appearance of Adam Warlock. Also a huge character in Marvel. If you read comics, of course you know this, but Adam Warlock is huge in the Thanos / Infinity Gem / Infinity Gauntlet storyline. And, listen, I'm not going to talk crap on James Gunn. He's doing a phenomenal job on this. Marvel itself is doing a phenomenal job on the movie version of the Infinity Gems, Infinity Gauntlet. I'm enjoying it. Would I like it to be like a comic book? Sure. But I mean, come on. I think this book was in 1967, 1968. You can have a slow reveal on comics. You can have he shows up in, again in Thor 167, I want to say, 166. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he shows up again where you actually see him. I don't think you see him on there. I think he's just a big figure glowing in light before he disappears. But this is Adam Warlock. Yeah. Again, like I say, freaking Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Okay, we'll get into the old Jack Kirby Stan Lee at some point. I'm not going to do it right now. I don't want to pick a fight with anybody. Because I know there's very, very thick line on that. And let's conclude our Fantastic Four thing really quick. But my last Fantastic Four, just off the hand, this one, Fantastic Four 110, the cover is just cool because it was a misprint. The color on it is wrong. So it's not supposed to look like that. Anyways, so I was happy to get that as a kid. Okay, real quick. Gosh, I'm running out of time. I know I want to make this less than an hour because I know folks have things to do. It's Friday. Alright, the next tab on here is my X-Men tab. I don't collect X-Men right now. When I started collecting again, as I told you, I think it was 2006 when Civil War started, I wanted to start again with X-Men, but so much had happened between 1983 and 2006 of the X-Men, there was no way to catch up. when I was a kid in 1977, 1978, when the first Giant Size X-Men came out, when the new X-Men were going on, I loved the X-Men. I couldn't get enough of the X-Men. Give me more X-Men. Issue would end. I want more X-Men. I mean, now there's like what, 4 titles of X-Men. Back then there was one. There was one X-Men title, and I couldn't get enough of it. I think I started collecting X-Men right around just after issue 100. I want to say 102, 103, whatever. So this is a case of me again wanting to read anything X-Men I could get a hold of my hands on. Anything. Okay, so issue 102, 103. Obviously, X-Men changed over to the new X-Men in Giant Size X-Men number 1 and X-Men number 93. And there's it's funny. It's really funny, that whole history is, because Giant Size X-Men number 1 is considered the first appearance of the new X-Men only by, I think, weeks. I don't think it's even a month than X-Men number 93. And so, because of that, Giant Size X-Men number 1 is worth a lot more money than 93. I would say, arguably, of course. Again, little Larry wanted to read everything X-Men wise, so I got my little. I talked about this last episode where you go into the comic books, you see the ads for people selling comic books, you order their catalog, you buy whatever you could. I don't know if I told you this. If they didn't have the book you wanted, they would send you a little coupon that said, "You've got 10 so and so bucks." To buy other comic books. So I would go through the catalog and pick something else out. And then I would eventually go back and order the same book over again. And eventually, I can't remember a time when I didn't get the book I was looking for. So real quick, let's get this one out of the way. This is a good story. I gotta find it really quick. Okay, here is my Giant Size X-Men number 1. Right? Okay, this book's worth a lot of money. It ain't worth amazing financing money, 15 money, but it's worth a good chunk of money. I told you a story last week, or 2 weeks ago, last episode, about the one comic book store in my town. 20 minutes away, my mom was driving, my dad was driving, depending on who was available. My mom drove me this week. So for about a week, this book hung on the wall. It was pinned to the wall. It wasn't pinned to the book, it was pinned to the very top. Behind the cash register, when you walked into the comic store I went to, they had a whole wall of comic books that were keys. I guess you call them keys now. At the time, we just called them books we really freaking wanted. But this book, because X-Men was so popular, was hanging up behind the cash register. And it was $17.50. Now, for little Larry, this book was like the Grail. It wasn't just the Grail, it was like, I need this book like I need to breathe. I need to read this book more than any book I've ever gotten in my life. That's how it was for me. So, I didn't have the money when I first showed up there. And I prayed and prayed and prayed it would stay there until I got the money. Saved up my allowance. I got $5 a week for allowance, by the way. Saved up the money I could for it. Finally got it. And honestly, I think it was about a week, maybe a little more than a week, that I had the money to get this. My mom took me to the comic book store. I bought the titles I usually get. I don't know if I bought all the titles. All I knew was I had enough money to buy this freaking book. Get in the car with my mom. I think I told you a story with my mom. My mom could care less about comic books. Just knew that I liked them and was willing to drive to the comic book store and she would sit outside of the comic book store because, not only mostly because she wanted to take me to the comic book store, because she's my mom. That's how moms are. But also because she enjoyed watching the barflies coming out from the bar across the street from the comic book store. For her, that was her little soap opera. She loved watching barflies coming out of that bar and just thinking it was the best thing ever. I could spend a half hour to an hour in that comic book store, and not once did she come in and say, "Let's go." She didn't honk the horn, never upset me for coming, for spending whatever time I needed in the comic book store. Okay, so this book comes out, 1750. Little Larry saves up his money and buys it. Get in the car, and I'm just like looking at this comic book. It still has a sticker on it. Little Larry didn't know the time to take the sticker off. Little Larry learned after this time to take the sticker off, but the sticker said 1750. if you look closely at this book, look at the top. When this book came out, it was 50 cents. It was 50 cents when it first came out. Little Larry didn't know to buy this book when it first came out. I don't even know if I was collecting comic book time. When I first started collecting comic books, and I don't think I said this last time, I collected horror books. I didn't collect superhero books. I loved scary comics. I collected Haunt of Horror, not Haunt of Horror, it was the DC books, all the DC horror books. I love those scary books. So I didn't collect superheroes. So even if this book was out when I started collecting, I wouldn't have known to buy it. In the passenger seat, because kids drove in the passenger seat back then. It was, 70s. Just happened on this book. Mom looks over and sees $17.50 for a comic book that originally cost 50 cents. And she says, "How much did you spend for that comic book?" And I said, $17.50, as if, who cares? It was giant size X-Men #1. So, and Mom says, "You paid $17.50 for a book that cost 50 cents." And I said, "Yeah, but." And if you have moms, everybody has moms. "Yeah, but" is pretty much all you get out at that point when Mom's upset. I said, "Yeah, but," and she said, "You wasted $17.50 on a book that originally cost," she didn't say originally, she thought the book cost 50 cents. For a book that cost 50 cents. And I again said, "Yeah, but you don't understand." And I don't know if she was already upset or the fact that I said, "You don't understand," set her off. But sure, you know what? In my mom's defense, I spent my money on. I got money, it was gone. Candy, yeah, candy. Comics, yeah, comic books. Oh, what, movie? Yeah, movie. So I had a history of spending my money on things that didn't matter. But this book says, and this book's in pretty good condition. For those of you who collect comic books, I would say this book's probably a 7.0, maybe an 8, maybe. I read this book 3 times, at least. 3 times. Because it's freaking Giant Size X-Men #1, people. It's Giant Size X-Men #1. It's the story of how the new X-Men came together. It's freaking Wolverine. It's freaking Nightcrawler, Storm. They're all Colossus. It's don't get me started on this book. This is the book. And I might have books worth more money. I don't know if I do or not. But this book to me is like the creme de la creme of my collection. I don't know if I'll ever sell it. I'm probably going to get it at CGC because I ain't reading it again. I don't want to mess it up, to be honest with you. I'm messing that book up. So, yeah. So, now going back to the whole thing about buying comic books online, not online, from comic book catalogs, of course. I think I had this book before, maybe after Giant Size X-Men #1. Get the catalog. X-Men, whatever, 90 through 100, 90 through, it might have been, 90 through 100, 75 cents. 75 cents, really. I would like issues 90, I'm sorry, I kept saying X-Men 93, X-Men 94, which was the one in question. Can I get X-Men 94 through 100? I'm not sure if I got all 94 through 100, but I did get at some point 94. Okay, it's chopped up. It is nowhere near in the condition Giant Size X-Men #1 is, but it's freaking awesome. You know what? This is another book I'll probably never sell. I mean, I got it for 75 cents. It's probably worth $100 or $200. It'd be worth the tear in it. It's technically the first comic book appearance of the new X-Men. Come on, it's X-Men, new X-Men. This is what the movies are based on. This is what the current X-Men are based on. This is what changed everything. Cockrum changed the X-Men at this point. So I don't care. It's torn. When I got this, I thought, the first thing I thought was, it's torn. Oh wait, it's 94 of the new X-Men. I get to read it. I didn't care. I think I read it the day I got it. Whatever. So I had the full run of the X-Men as a kid. Is there anyone that I need to talk about? Alright, quick, what time is it? Any other time? Okay. Alright, so last episode, I spoke about the fact that I collected comic books in the late 70s. Oh, you know what? Stop there. Let's just stop. If we're going to jump from the past to the present, let's jump to a shot. Yeah. And I can't stress enough. Get the big bottle of Jack. Small bottle doesn't last. It doesn't, people. More for your money here. More for your money. Jack. And remember, if there's nothing else you remember about me drinking Jack, when the wife asks, 3 something. 3 something shots. How many shots did Larry take? 3 something. 3 something. Wait, let's take a shot. Alright, here we go. You know what? I take 7 shots, but you might all think I'm kind of being girly, being wimpy on this, but I'm gonna take the bullet shot. Bullet shot, and I'm sorry for saying girly, because that's not PC. If there's nothing else I am, it's PC. Cheers, 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 cheers. May all of your, may you be always be considered near mint, if not at least very fine. Cheers. Okay. I'll explain it later, but Jack is childish. We'll explain that later. Maybe next episode I'll explain that. Anyways, the last tab I got here is Civil War. The first Civil War. Well, I explained to you already how I stopped collecting when I went to college back in 1984 or so, 83/84. I started again back around 2006 when Civil War started, because I found out Peter Parker was going to mask himself as Spider-Man, and the storyline just sounded really awesome. So I have my Civil War in here. Just a side note, I love the fact that they did the whole Daily Bugle thing with the Civil War. I keep those. I love novelties. I love comic book novelties, worth money or not. I mean, come on. I mean, even the little card, the Civil War card they gave out. Excuse me. Oof. Excuse me. It was awesome. So I had 2 copies of Civil War #1. I sold one when Civil War came out for a profit, obviously. This is the Civil War copy I actually bought. When I started collecting comic books again, I went to comic store. Civil War, they were already on issue 2 or 3. I can't remember which. I had no idea. All I knew was Superman was going to fight each other. Spider-Man was going to unmask himself. So I went to the comic store. I said, "Do you have them?" I had to go to 2 or 3 different comic stores to piece the first few issues together. This is issue #1. There's a signature on there, as I'm sure you can see. I sold mine. Oh, it's in there. I put the stock around the bag. Again, I love collecting comic book novelties. They're just cool. Just cool little novelty. That's Mark Millar's signature. Mark Millar wrote the main Civil War story. I love Mark. I don't love him. Let's just say most of the comic books I read and or collect. There's a story that goes with this. First, let's talk about Civil War #1. Most of you probably saw Captain America: Civil War, and yeah, it was a good movie. Trust me, I liked it. It wasn't the Civil War in this book. So when I started collecting again, I bought this book and some other books that I thought would be good. Of course, Spider-Man and others. I read this first. When I got to this part in the book, I'm going to try to open books as much as possible because, frankly, yeah, you can be afraid of damaging books or whatever, but the bottom line is these books are meant to be read. The point in this book. Ads or not, I mean, these books, I would hope the people who buy books from me or any other speculator buy them because they want to read them. Read the damn book. Don't just buy a book and set it on the shelf. You know, I don't see it on here. I could have sworn it was in this book. We'll go through it one more time. Real quick, I'm not trying to slow everybody down here. But this storyline was so awesome. So awesome that I wish they could have made a movie into it. I understand why they couldn't have. There's so much history going on in these stories. Gosh, I know it's in this book. And it involves Captain America, of course. Because, oh, yeah, this story. Oh, this page. This page. Captain America on the front of an F fighter. And he makes sure the guy doesn't get killed. But he is on top of a fighter jet. Freaking, I read that and I thought, I'm so glad I got back. Seriously, I know it sounds corny, but I thought, I'm so glad I got back to the collecting comics. I really did. Anyways, going real quick into the story on this. Mark Millar signed this book. The day this book was signed, and maybe a couple weeks before this, I had a friend who invited me to meet Mark Millar. Mark Millar was coming out here for some sort of signing/comic event, Las Vegas, and they're all going to hook up with him at a bar. Seriously, having drinks with Mark Millar, how cool would that be? If you collect comic books, hooking up, sitting at a bar with Mark Millar having drinks would be awesome. At the time, I thought it was lowercase awesome. Now, I think all bold, Times New Roman, underlined, Mark Millar. Awesome. My grandfather passed away the day that was that. And that stunk. Not because I didn't give me Mark Millar, but because my grandfather passed away. My grandfather was one of the most awesome people. My father is the only person who I'd like you to meet more than my grandfather. And so, I told my friend that my grandfather passed away. There's no way I can make that date of this meeting. And he came by my house. I picked this book up and had Mark Millar sign it for me. So this book will never, ever be sold by me. My children can sell it, and that's fine. I don't care. But I'm not selling this book. I sold another number one that I had back when Silver Surfer first came out, but I'm not selling this book. So, yeah, Silver Surfer number one. An awesome book. I'm sorry, Civil War number one. Silver Surfer. Civil War number one. An awesome book. I will not be selling that. But I love the first Civil War series. I loved it. I thought it was one of the... I was so glad I got back to the collecting comic books when I read this storyline. Captain America dying, I mean, just freaking tragically awesome. So, anyways, what time is it? I guess we'll stop there. I'm sorry we started so late, people. I really want to start at 5. I had trouble with YouTube, and I don't want to start YouTube without. I want everybody to get equal time on this. So, anyways, maybe in 2 weeks we'll do this again. I want to do this again. In the surprise. Today was the Thor surprise. May the thunder be with you. And before I go, let's take one more shot. What the hell? It's Friday, right? It's Friday. Take a shot on Friday. Shut your face, take a shot. We're gonna take a shot. Alright, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please, I know I made my Facebook page public, and I love my Facebook friends tuning in. But I would love for all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. just because. You know, it's not. I ain't making money off it. I just love doing this. It's a lot of fun. Um, this box is probably done, but I've got even the box I did to episode 1. It's not done. We'll be here for a while. If you like me talking, rambling, drinking, excuse me, we'll be back. So, cheers, everybody, and enjoy your weekend and mud in your eye.
Let me just say, I'm so happy
The Facebook didn't cut out on me. It cut on me twice last time.
twice.